Baptiste, welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, Brandon. Thanks a lot for inviting me. Pleasure to be
Well,
here.
it is my pleasure. Baptiste, to start, can you just tell us about the exchange that you and your team have built?
Yes, sure. So I come from this world, commodity trading world, physical products that everyone is concerned about. It's like things you eat, things you put in your car, things you build your house with, and you actually don't pay attention too much how it is traded, how it is extracted, how it is exchanged all over the world. Those industries are just massive, and it involves huge supply chain, big international companies that usually control the market, and all those exchanges are done very confidentially. And that's what we are trying to break at Verto. We are trying to build an exchange that is much more open, that is completely transparent. Why does it matter? It matters because at the end of the day, all those information regarding commodity exchange are data that are kept by big international companies and that prevent people on the value chain, those who are really producing the commodities, to gain from their activity. So it's like a Web3 application, but for commodity products. And so imagine yourself or imagine an economy in 10 years where you will be able to see publicly each person, each producer of commodity like coffee, for example, you will see their track record for the last 10 years. You will see the quality, if the quality has improved, if they have added certificates, specific agronomist practices, and they will own the data. So it will no longer be possessed by international company who might take advantage of it. It will be their data, and they will have the full benefit of it. So that's what we are creating, an exchange for commodity products to allow this openness.
And all of this information is going to be available on your website where the exchange lives.
Exactly. So you are already able to log on vertocommodities.io, and you can go on the transaction explorer. It's just a transaction explorer you might like you see on the Ethereum or Hedera, where you see the transactions, but the difference is we decode the information. So you are able to see what's behind the digits. You are able to see what product it is, what quality, what quantity, where it is, and when. So those are the basic information that would allow an open system of commodity exchange. So when it is public, when people are able to see what's there, they can challenge the information. So they can say, this producer or these intermediaries is moving one product from Costa Rica to New York, and so you are able to see how does he do his work, and you can add like information, and everyone will be able to challenge that, a little bit like on Airbnb. You go on Airbnb, you
Sure.
say, I want to go to that host, not because this is the best location in Berlin, but just because he has the highest rate. So that's what we create. Only the difference with Airbnb is that this is public information. So we're not going to be here to cheat and hide some comments or hide anything. The people will be responsible for the data they input in the system and on the exchange. So that's really the novelty of Verto.
So it doesn't take a stretch to see how you're leveraging the trust layer of the internet with Hedera, but how exactly are you leveraging Hedera? I'd like to go into some more detail on that. And how did you choose the network that was right for you?
Sure. So initially we started project 2.5 years on Ethereum. So we coded smart contracts for product lot. So really like what a physical product is, where is it, when, what quantity is it, what quality. So we recrafted these those sets of parameters that are generic to any commodity. So any commodity would have, even if it's oil, even if it's minerals, if it's coffee, if it's corn, you will have the same kind of parameters. So we crafted that very simple generic smart contract that creates actually kind of tokens, but multi tokens, and it's coded on Solidity. And we migrated to Hedera 1.5 years ago because Hedera is much cheaper, much more performant. And we had, we had like for us as developers, we had documentation. How can we improve our smart contracts? How can we get a bit of support on the public domain? So that was key, yes, to our development. And just to make a comparison, if we create one product lot on coffee today, it would cost us on Ethereum about 50 cents, and on Hedera it's about 4 cents. So that's a game changer. So when you have like a commodity, it's not like a jewelry. It's not like a watch or a ring that has like very high value. So adding an NFT on top of jewelry is as a marginal cost compared to the product cost. But on commodities, the marginal cost is much higher if you have high transaction fees. So that's why you cannot use like an expensive blockchain, and Hedera is perfect for that.
So, as far as I understand, right now, you're mainly using it for that trust, the provenance of information for these different commodities. But when will we get to the point where you're actually trading using the Web3 technology, actually using it for settlement and things along those lines?
Yes. So you have two things about commodities, and people usually get confused because when you create a product, you want to say, I have this product and I want to sell it. Okay. But actually, you have two things going in parallel because you cannot actually have your product harvested yet. It's going to be harvested in 1 year, but you already want to sell it in 1 year forward. So you have those informations that are different, the physical activity and the commercial activity. So what we created is a smart contract only for commercial contracts. And so these commercial contracts would have a reference to a product lot, an underlying product lot. But it will have also a life cycle. So if you sign a contract with someone, it doesn't mean that the ownership of the underlying product goes to the buyer. Because you still, if it's in 1 year, you will still have to deliver your product and you will have to get paid. So once those events happen on the commercial contracts, then it completes its life cycle and it triggers the transfer of ownership of the underlying product. So that's what we created, and that's how you could say it's a settlement process. But yes, a product lot can have multiple commercial contracts throughout its life cycle. And each commercial contracts will trigger a change of ownership. So that's what we created, two smart contracts, one for product lot and one for commercial contracts. And that's a novelty because when you look at a product on Verto, not only you see the physical logistic events and transformation and where it went, from what port, when did it shipped, when it loaded, but also you see how many people bought and sold that product lot. So you could see like there is a commercial operation, like this product has been exchanged 10 times, for example, at certain port and remained in a warehouse through all along. If you see that on a public domain, you would say that I want to go straight to the source. Why would I need those intermediaries that are speculating and inflating the product price? So the idea is to have this transparency not only on the physical operation, but also on the commercial activity. Of course, we're not talking about publishing confidential information about bank details or any private information. What we're just showing publicly with the commercial contracts is when was the change of ownership. And if some actors are willing to show more openness, we could even like say this public address belongs to that company, and they are willing to show that they actually have those activities on these specific flows from this specific region. And that will add credibility because you would say, oh, those guys, I mean, I trust them. I see what they've been doing for the last years. They seem to be a very good intermediary because it's difficult to originate cocoa bean from Ecuador, and they can do that and they get the right product. So why not buying from them? I think this is really different from the competition because what they do is confidential using blockchain. So they hash information before publishing it, and they don't show any activity on the commercial contracts. So yes, I hope it answers your question.
Absolutely. And I mean, it adds that credibility and efficiency, which is, of course, going to be really important in a capitalist society. But finally, I want to ask, what are your plans for future development, expansion, and so forth?
So our goal in the 5 to 10 years is to have this interactive map of all the products that are exchanged through Verto. So you have this map, you are able to trace each product that is created. You can download automatically a certificate of origins with all the transformation steps, and you will be able to see all the events on Hedera. So if you want to challenge that information, you can just get the smart contract and publicly call the smart contract methods to retrieve information about those lots independently from our system. But what we want to build is a tool for everyone in the supply chain to understand how the supply chain is done, how many players are involved for a certain product line, where are the products, what are their origin, and to see that information live. So you could spot on our map, interactive map, how much is produced every month of that product, from which region, where is it sold, to whom is it sold, where is it going. And so for all the banks that are involved in the commodity finance, they could get that operation using the smart contracts internally without even logging to Verto. For third-party operators, shipping lines, surveyors, ship agents, insurer, they have this data available already. And if they are part of this system, they can get the data in the same manner. So this is what we want to build. You could even have think about an NGO that looks at child labor, for example. They don't need to ask the trader or the producer some information. They can already go on the Verto map or even calling the smart contract methods. And they can see, we have to go to that location because in that country, that region, we might have some work to do there. So that's super useful to anyone, even governments. Governments could imagine an exporting countries who needs to have more visibility on their export taxes. They could see live from Verto smart contract how much they export. So they could have a direct access to their revenue. So that's incredible. So that's what we want to build for all the actors of the commodity supply chains to have access to this data.
This sounds like, an industry that is ripe for disruption, not just the commodities industry, but it seems like you're going to touch every other industry that looks at it, from insurance to banking to even governments. So we appreciate that you're doing this on Hedera. Thanks so much for stopping by and explaining it today, and good luck.
Thank you, brother. It was a pleasure.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR Weekly update. So check them out.